ਸਭ ਦਿਨ ਸਰੈਣ ਦੇਖੂੰ ਗੁਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਖੀ ਗੁਰ ਪੈਰ ਤਰਾਈ ਸਭ ਦਿਨ ਸਰੈਣ ਦੇਖੂੰ ਗੁਰ ਆਪਣਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਖੀ ਗੁਰ ਪੈਰ ਤਰਾਈ ਅਨੇਕ ਉਪਾਵ ਕਰੀ ਗੁਰ ਕਾਰਣ ਗੁਰ ਪਾਵੈ ਸੋ ਥਾਏ ਪਾਈ ਅਨੇਕ ਉਪਾਵ ਕਰੀ ਗੁਰ ਕਾਰਣ ਗੁਰ ਪਾਵੈ ਸੋ ਥਾਏ ਪਾਈ ਸੋ ਥਾਏ ਪਾਈ ਰਹਿਣ
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. When I am on your shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stone. to more than I can be.
Good grammar and spelling.
Hello, welcome to Satsang, everybody. Have an amazing week all. Nice to see you. Today we have a song by Bhavani, Hero, and then we'll have a talk by Michael. After that, we will meditate for 5 minutes and we will watch Master on YouTube, and then we'll have group meditation with love and devotion. Thank you. We can start.
Radha brothers and sisters, thank you so much, Papa Ishwarji, for Seva. Thank you, Brother Michael G. This is a song called Hero by Mariah Carey, and these words sort of describe how we feel towards our Master and Papa Ishwarji, because they are heroes in our life and they leave a legacy behind forever with us. So what a perfect song. If there's any mistakes or errors in my singing, please forgive me. There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer. If you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away, and then the Master comes along with the strength to carry us, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. And when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth that the Master lies within us all. It's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a helping hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and that emptiness you feel will disappear. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. And when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and finally you'll see the truth that the Master lies within us all. Radha Swami, thank you.
Radha Swami, Sister Bhavani, thank you so much for your beautiful song and the words in the song that we hold Master's hand and he gives us support. What a beautiful song you have. Thank you so much for your seva and for your love and for your devotion. And my dear Holy Family, I greet you all. And I start satsang by putting my head, my mind, my body, my soul, everything that I have at the feet of love, at the feet of Baba Sawan Singh, at the feet of Sant Singh, at the feet of Ishwar Puri Ji and all the perfect masters. I start satsang there from their feet, that they might shower us with their love. They might draw us into the heart of hearts, into themselves, and our awareness can increase as the drop contains the ocean. And since the drop contains the ocean, then also the human body contains God. And we are just a drop. We don't know about the ocean. And that's what satsang is, that we sit together in this holy circle of lovers. So this drop can become the ocean. This drop can merge in the ocean. This drop can just drop in the ocean and become the ocean. That our awareness, in hopes that our awareness will increase, that our awareness will become like the awareness of Master, like the awareness of Ishwar, which he promised that his awareness will become our awareness. And we have nothing to worry about. Since we are initiated by a perfect Master, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of karma we are going through, what is our personal DVD, what the character Michael is doing. It doesn't matter. All what matters is that we have been accepted, that the seal of God has been put on our forehead, and we have been accepted in the kingdom of God. And it's just a matter of time where the drop merges with the ocean and becomes the ocean, where we become the ocean, where we become everything. That from eternity we came into this world, from eternity we came here, and we were given a human body, we were given a flesh and bones, but we came from eternity, and from here we will return to eternity. That we came from eternity and we return to eternity. From eternity and to from eternity and to eternity is our destination. It's like a circle that we have come, we have experienced, we have watched the show, and now we just go back from eternity. We go from eternity, we come back to eternity, to the land of eternal love. My dear friend Jit, he sent me something beautiful, and then I forgot to look, and then he sent me another message. Hey Mike, you're gonna love this, look at it. And I'm like, wow, it must be coming from Master, because he reminded me. And then I put it on my computer, and it's a poetry from and the life of a Sufi saint that I've never heard of. His name is Yunus Emre, and he's from the time of Rumi. In fact, he met Rumi, and Rumi asked him about the Masnawi, which is the collection of poetry, 80,000 verses of poetry from. And Rumi asked him, "What do you think about it?" And Yunus said, "It's just, it is just, I think it is too long. I could." And the Rumi said, "How could you put it in?" And he said, "I could put it in few words, that we came from eternity and we were clothed with this skin and bones, and now we go back to eternity." These were his words, the words of Yunus. And his life, I will tell you more. I will tell you about his life, and his life is a beautiful how he met his master. I will tell it to you in a moment, but before that, I just wanted to share that there is a moj this morning. There is a moj this morning that my friend from Initiate, my sister, Initiate of Sant Singh. I think she's here, but she's trying to connect to audio. I don't know why she can't get the audio, but she called me and she was crying and she was saying, Mike, I have a hard time to meditate. You know, I sit and there is nothing, and she had tears in her eye. And then I went to the Sisha. I went to the Sisha. I tried to answer her, and I invited her to come here that we can answer her questions more, but she's still connecting to audio. But I switched to the Sisha satsang, and with brother Herb G. And brother Herb G was talking about the same subject. There was the same subject. So I said, maybe I should talk about it. And it was about the difficulties of meditation. And they started reading from Baba Sawan Singh, Spiritual Gems, the book, page 154. They were reading, Jason was reading. And I'm like, oh my God, look at the godly coincidences. It is just the Moj, the Moj of today from the Master Power is to talk about the difficulties of meditation and how Jason was reading that, this path is like an ant going up a wall. And she goes up the wall and then she falls down and then she goes up again. And then she falls and she might reach 90% of the wall and she falls, but she never gives up until at some point she climbs the wall. So the first part is practice, 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 and practice. And practice makes into perfect, that by practicing meditation, practicing to concentrate, then at some point it becomes perfect. And then he was reading something further, and he was saying that the ant, once she reaches the top of the wall, then she changes, she metamorphosizes or is transformed to a spider. And the spider has a web, and the web, and he can climb on these strings up and down easily, that ant becomes a spider. And then they were talking even more how the second stage is the spider becomes a fish, and then they can swim in the ocean of love, and then from a fish to a bird, and the bird can fly onto peaks. And that is really our story, that first we try, that this is first we put the effort, first we put the effort, we fail. When there is complete failure, the failure and the effort transforms into grace. And then what happens when grace comes? Then there is a pull. When grace comes, there is a pull. So it does not matter. It does not matter. We keep trying, we keep sitting here. Our mind might come. Our mind might come, and we cannot control the mind, and our mind can take us downwards to the lower chakras. And then what do? We just try again. We say, oh, Master, we keep the Simran, and then we try to listen to the Simran. As Ishwar Puri says, our Holy Father says, Ishwar Puri Ji says that by repeating the Simran, and the mind repeats the Simran, the soul listens. By listening, we're putting all our attention there. The soul is the listener. And then when we listen, then all of a sudden we withdraw. We withdraw to the higher realms. We withdraw to the higher realms, and we tap into the beyond. So he taught us this, but it is all about grace. From my experience, all these years, sometimes I sit for hours trying to meditate and nothing happens. And then sometimes I just sit there and just repeat the holy words for few seconds, and boom, Master's grace comes, and then I'm pulled into the inner regions of suns and moons and stars and the inner master. So it is all grace. And then they were talking more and more about this subject, and they said that I think Brother Neil said this, and he said that when he asked Ishwar Puri Ji, and he told him, I sit here, but after a few minutes I go down, I cannot hold the attention. And then Ishwar Puri Ji said, uh, listen, this path is really made for each individual. It's customized path, and each individual is different. Each individual is different. We each come from different backgrounds. We each have different baggage that we carry. We each have different experiences and different lifetimes in meditation. Some had many lifetimes in meditation, and some, this is the start. So this path of the masters is customized for every individual. So don't be heartbroken if you hear that somebody can sit there and in 1-2 seconds, boom, he's out of the body and he's tapping into the beyond, and you are sitting there and going nowhere. Does not matter. That each path is customized personally for each individual, and all what we have to do is just sit in the lap of Master. Sitting in the lap of Master, when we meditate, We do it with love and devotion. We ask Master to meditate for us, and we just sit here. We just sit here and just pray that you control my mind. You are the maker of my whole thing. You made me from A to Z. I cannot do anything without you. I am really nothing. I am really nothing. And I don't know much about God and the kingdom of God. You know everything. So surrender. I surrender myself to you, dear Lord, dear Master. By having this prayer, we are surrendering to the Master to let him do. And then when we do that, then what happens? Grace comes much more faster. Grace comes faster when we do it with love and devotion. And the pull is there. The pull is there. And at some point in our journey, as we go step after step after step after step towards God and the kingdom of God, we reach a step where the inner master starts to show himself, where the inner master starts to give us his drishti from within. So imagine how beautiful when we step into this step in the book of love that we have, since we are opening page after page every day. We open a different page in the book of love, and at some point we're going to open a page where the inner master starts to show himself. And it is a surety, it's an absolute thing that if you stay on the path, if you keep satsang, if you keep meditation, if you keep the inner prayer, and you keep holding the hand of love, then all of us will flip into this page. And this page has the inner master on it, where the inner master starts to give the drishti. And how beautiful that step is, when the inner master that we miss so much outside, that he came into our life, he blessed us, he touched our core, he touched us with his divinity, and he made us addicted to that divinity. We became mastanas. We became crazy for God after that look, after the look of the master, because we yearned for him, we asked for him, we had enough of this world, and we wanted to go back home. We wanted to go back home. Our inner self, our God self, arranged the outer master. The outer master came in our life, touched us with his divinity. Once we were touched by that divinity, there is no return. Like that song, Hotel California, you know, that once we are touched by God, then there is no return. That's it. The golden chain has been put on our neck, and he is pulling us. He is pulling us towards the land of love. And how beautiful that land of love is, the saints and master is. But the most beautiful thing is the eyes of the master. The eyes of the master are the eyes of Satpurush, and he is the one who created God, who created, I mean, the kingdom of God. Satpurush, out of him, out of this word God, in the beginning was the word was with God, and the word was God. And out of this word, the whole creation manifested. Ishwar Puri Ji even said that even the kingdom of God, Sachkhand, is created by this power. And this power manifests itself in the form of Gurudev, which is the inner master. And then when he looks at us, then the maker is looking at us. Then our maker of our whole being, the creator of our whole being, and the creator of the whole show, the creator even of Sachkhand, has looked at us. That look is a total security. That look is an assurance. That look is the nod of acceptance. That look is God. That look is love. That look is the kingdom of God. All is needed is that look. Once, even when the outer master looks at us, it's the same as the inner master, because the outer world and the inner world are all so connected. It's all so connected. If something comes outside, it also has happened inside. When the master looks at us from the outside, he also looked at us from inside. And when he looks at us from the outside, probably all of you has experienced the look of a perfect living master, and what that does to the soul, and what it is, and what's its essence, and how much love is in it, and how the soul starts to dance, how the soul starts to do somersaults in God. Somersaults, like just whirling. That's what the whirling dervishes is. The whirling dervish is the one who had the drishti of the inner master, and he just starts dancing. He just starts whirling. whirling. How beautiful is it when the inner master gives us his drishti? It is just bringing all the gifts of creation to our lap and saying, you are my son, you are my child. I give you everything. That when the master looks at us, this look is the alpha, this look is the omega, this is the beginning, the look is the beginning, the look is in between, and the look is the end. It's the alpha, the omega, and in between. That when the master inside looks at us, God is looking at us, and we have reached that level where he gives us that security, that we feel him, that we feel his presence in our life moment after moment after moment, and he is with us, and we become fearless, and he's doing everything for us, everything for us. What happens to the soul who sees the drishti of the inner master? That soul has dominion, dominion over the five elements. It has dominion over fire. It has dominion over all the creation of Lord God, water, fire, earth, everything is under the dominion of the true lover of God, the true dervish who has surrendered to the master and who is dancing in the master, who is dancing in the master. Then everything becomes at his beck and call. Whatever he thinks, God gets manifested. A thought. Why? Because the thoughts become in tune with the thoughts of master. Whatever we think becomes the thought of master. It is master thinking in us. This is what happens. And then every thought, since it's coming from the master, it gets manifested. You think of somebody, that somebody will call you right away or will send you a text. You want to see the sun, then then the clouds would move for you. The clouds will move for you and will show you the sun. This is the path of miracles, that once we are in love with God, then one miracle after another miracles, our whole bag will be full of blessings, and it will be heavy with blessings that we cannot lift. And these blessings they show themselves in the form of daily miracles where we see the presence of the master. We see the presence of the master. So it's a step by step on the ladder of love, on the ladder of God, on the ladder of the kingdom of God. Patience and perseverance. Patience and perseverance are the key. The key that every day we climb a step, no matter what, no matter what. If we fall, just like that story of the ant that I said, we pick up ourselves and we start to walk again into God. And when we walk into God, then his hands are always welcoming. The hands, he's always embracing us. He's always saying, come to me. Even if you break your vow 1,000 times, even if you break your vows 1,000,000 times, come to me, and my hands are open. My hands are welcoming you. You are my child. You have been accepted. You have been accepted. You have the passport to God, the passport to the kingdom of God. No one can stop you when you have the passport of God. This is the real passport. The real passport comes when we first meet the master and he initiates us. It gets stamped. That passport is stamped with the authority of God, and that passport we carry here in this world. When we carry the passport of God in this world, we become a VIP in God. VIP in God. That means no one can harm us. No one can touch us. Nobody can do anything for us. We have God inside of us. We have the passport to the kingdom of God. We carry the master with us. We carry God and his treasures with us. If the inner master, if the tree is in the seed, if the tree is in the seed and God is in the human body, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. We carry God inside of us in the form of in the human body, but it's different than other human bodies. Why? Because it has been awakened. has been awakened by the outer master. The outer master graced us, awakened our inner master, and now God inside of us is fully awake. God inside of us is fully awake. And at some point, he's going to become from head to toe. At some point, our awareness, as we are climbing the stairs, also we're going to reach a page of love where full awareness, we turn the page into full awareness. And what happens when when we turn that page of the full awareness? Who knows? Only God knows. But I'm sure we're gonna be drunk in God. We're gonna be drunk in ecstasy. Gonna be forever dancing, and we're gonna be enjoying and enjoying. This is just the path of love, and just feeling the master with us every day, every moment. At least for me, that I feel him in my life, in every step that I take, and I ask him to do for me. Some Any problem that comes, oh master, please do this for me. I don't know how to do it, and he will do it. One time in the beginning of initiation, that was many years ago, and I think I could not open the trunk of my car, and I said, okay, master, you are here. I can't open the trunk of my car. I tried so many ways, and I can't. I stood by the trunk of the car and I closed my eyes and I asked Master, okay, show me now what you can do. Now I step aside, I let you do it. I need to open the trunk of my car. Guess what? A guy parks next to me and he says, you look like you need help. I think he saw me trying to open the trunk. Yeah, I think you need help. I have a car like this and I know how to open it. Let me show you. And he opened it for me. These types of miracles, but this is just one. You know how many hundreds of miracles I forgot? Because there are so many miracles. I wish I wrote them down because they could have been a big book of miracles in my life, in my own life, that happened just to show me that Master is here. Master is doing everything and Master is blessing. So I told you in the beginning of satsang that my friend Jit sent me about Yunus. Yunus was a shepherd. He was a shepherd, and there was a famine. I just read like for 15 minutes. Well, from his book, but I could share it so everybody could read it. You can download it on your PDF. It's a PDF. But he was a shepherd, and there was a famine in his town. So and he was a boy, like he was a young boy. So his village sent him to an ashram. There was an ashram that had food in it. Because why? Because the ashrams are always blessed by God and they always have abundance. Why? Because they are connected with the master. The master is abundance. There's no shortages in the ashram. I remember one time when we were in LCO, there was a big fire. And you know how when Oregon has a lot of trees, and if there is a fire, like it could engulf everything. And we were in the ashram, and there was a big fire, and we were scared. We were not scared or anything, but we thought Master would deal with it because in the ashram there is a lot of trees, fruit trees, all kinds of trees. Guess what? When that fire reached the door of the ashram, it stopped and it died. This is how the power of the master is. There was another time I was in Sant ashram in Florida. And the year, I think it was 2003 or 2002, I forgot. There were 4 hurricanes that hit Florida. And we were in the ashram and everybody was evacuating. All that live oak town, they evacuated and they came to us and they're saying, how come you're not evacuating? Are you crazy? The hurricane is coming here. And we were saying, no, we have the master. They thought we were crazy. We have the master. We are trusting in God. None of us left. And then the hurricane came. But guess what happened? When it reached us, it became a tropical storm. I've never experienced a tropical storm, but when I looked at the clouds and the moon, the clouds were going fast forward, like as if you are having a movie and fast forward to the fastest thing. This is how the clouds were like zooming like that, and the trees were going from one end to the other end. It was fun to watch. I was outside and I was watching. But this is how Master is. This is how Master in us can do anything. That even in a war, Baba Jamal Singh was meditating in a pit between the two armies, and he was not scared. So this is what I'm saying. When we have God inside of us, when we develop full trust and faith in the Master inside of us, He will do everything for us in the outer world, and He will protect us. He will protect us. Wars cannot affect us. Disease cannot affect us. Come to me, O you weary and heavy laden. I will give you rest. I will give you peace. There will be no more problems, no more worries, and no more diseases. I live by that. I live by that quote of Jesus Christ. Why? Because it is true. When you are embedded in the Master, when you come to the Master, and when we become rich in Master, that means we have extra and extra and extra treasures of God and the kingdom of God. Then these extra treasures that will overflow to bless everybody who comes uh, in our midst will get some of those treasures. They will be blessed. Those treasures, it, those jewels and rubies and diamonds of the kingdom of God, they are priceless because they have the currency of the kingdom of God, and nothing of this world can compare to them. So if we have a lot of these treasures, it can also pay for our diseases, our problems, and all the difficulties that come across from us from these treasures that we have acquired in God and in the. That's why I say, if Master says do 2.5 hours meditation, do double. Then when we do double, what happens? Then we are rich. We are rich, 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 rich in God. Or do more seva, more seva. If you cannot meditate, then do more seva. More and more seva will fill the godly bag, and the godly bag at some point will be full, and heavy, heavy of blessings, and those blessings will transform into smiles in our outer life as we are given the boots. We go through situations, but we do not suffer these situations because we have been given thick boots of God. And when we walk on needles, when we walk on thorns, we won't feel these thorns because we have those thick boots. Our life becomes so smooth and easy, and and others that come towards us, our families, our friends, this whole country. If we grow so much in God, if we grow to become like Ishwar Puri Ji, then what will happen? Not only our friends will be blessed, our family will be blessed, our city will be blessed, our country will be blessed, but the whole world will be blessed, and the astral world will be blessed, the causal worlds will be blessed, the three worlds will be blessed by the lover of God. For he who overcomes, I shall give powers to rule all of the nations, Jesus said in the Holy Bible. Who overcomes what? Overcomes the negativity in himself with the sword of love. Once that negativity, once the threat of negativity is slain, and for he who overcomes, we like Saint George, I see I have him here in front of me. Saint George conquered the dragon. What does that mean? He conquered the dragon that lives in him. That the dragon of the anger, lust, ego, greed, and attachment have been totally slain. Only love exists. What happens when only love exists? Then God is there, and then all the powers of God will be transformed into us because we have God inside of us. Then there's no difference. Like me and my Father in the heavens are one. That will be our situation where we can say, me and my Father in the heavens are one. It is no longer me, but thee. That it is the Master acting inside of us 24/7. 24/7. It is no more us. That the drop merged with the ocean, it became the ocean. And then Master is doing, Master is blessing, Master is talking, Master is looking, Master is touching through our hands, looking through our eyes, and talking through our mouth. That this is the situation that will happen to us when the doors of grace open, when the floodgates of Baba Sawan, the Sawan, the rain of the Sawan of blessings drenches us. This is what will happen to us when the doors of Baba Sawan Singh fully open. That means we will be taken to the kingdom of God. We will dance in front of Baba Sawan Singh, the dance of the soul in front of the oversoul, the dance of happiness, the dance of reaching home, that we are home. And how is it good to feel at home? We are the happiest when we go home, even if we go on a vacation. If we go on a vacation, we enjoy the vacation, but part of us want to go to our bed. Part of us want to be in our atmosphere. And we are here all refugees. We are all refugees. And the moment we reach our home, imagine, imagine how it could be, how it could be. So yes, I was talking about Yunus. Yunus was a shepherd boy, and he had famine in his village, and his village asked him to go to the ashram. So he went to the ashram to get some food, and when he reached the ashram, the sheikh of the ashram totally knew, who is a perfect master, that Yunus is coming, and he directed the people in the ashram to tell him, to ask him if he wants grain for his village or if he wants barakah. You know, baraka is a Arabic word, barake. What is barake? Grace. So he gave him a choice. Does he want grace or does he want grains? And barake in Arabic, it's even more than grace. Barake is like abundance. Barake is just like the sawan, the floods of sawan. Barake is just the ultimate blessings of God. This is when they say this guy is Mubarak. Mubarak, that means has been blessed by God. Mubarak, you know, Barake, Mubarak, Yubarak, like somebody who blesses. So they asked him if he wants Barake, blessings, grace or grain, and he said no, I came here. My village is hungry. I came here for grain. How much? He didn't know what baraka is actually, and he said where can how much does it weigh if I can carry it? And they said it'll take a very small room in your bag, the baraka. And then he said no, I want grain. But as he was walking away, and he said wow, they gave me this choice of baraka. I think I should go back to the ashram and ask for barakah and grain. So he went back to the ashram, and he asked. He said, "I want my barakah. I want my blessings." And then they told him, "Your blessings is not here. Your blessing, the barakah, which is your spiritual power, the spiritual power, is not here. It is with another master. I forgot his name. I should have wrote it down. And you should go there." That means he was not on the name of that sheikh of that ashram. He was on the name of another sheikh of another ashram. So he went to that sheikh. I forgot the name. It starts with a T. And he went to that sheikh, and he fell in love, and he became a dervish. He became like us. He became like us, a whirling dervish, whirling in God and enjoying God every second. And he wrote so much poetry. And the brother just sent me that poetry. So I thought I would read some of that poetry to intoxicate us, make us dance more in God, brings more ecstasy and drunkenness of God to our soul, to our happy soul, to our enriched soul, to our soul that is connected to God, that's connected to the kingdom of God, that is living in Master. Wow, how lucky we are that we live in Master. How lucky we are that we are fearless. How lucky we are that we are just holding the hand of Satpursh, the King of Kings. So let me read some poetry of 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 oh, 1 second. Let me find it. Let's see if I can share it. Okay, cool. Let's see. Says, whoever is given the dervish path, may his posturing cease, and may he shine. May his breath become musk and amber. May whole cities and homelands gather fruit from his branches. Wow, may his breath become musk and amber. You know, this so many people smelled sandalwood. They smelled roses around Santakar Singh and around Ishwarji. They smelled roses. They smelled all types of beautiful smells. And that will happen to us. May his breath become musk and amber. May whole cities and homelands gather fruit from his branches that we will start to give to this whole world. May his leaves be healing herbs for the sick. One look, one look of a God intoxicated person can heal so many sick people. Going to the hospital over here, you become more sick because the energy is so low, the vibration is so low, and so depressed that we become more sick. But going to somebody like a perfect master, like Ishwar Puri Ji or Sant Singh or Sant Kirpal Singh or Baba Sawan Singh, having a look from their eyes is a much more better than going to any hospital. Really, I'd rather, if I was so sick, I would rather look at the master and get the healing from there, as he is my only doctor. May his tears become a clear lake. May reeds sprout between his toes. Oh, oops. Oh, 1 second. Oh, here we go. And among all poets and nightingales in the friend's garden, may Yunus hop like a partridge. We are all in the friend's garden. Wow. Let me read more. If I told you about a land of love, friend, would you follow me and come? Yes, I will come. In that land are vineyards that yield a deadly wine. No glass can hold it. Would you swallow it as a remedy? Wow, he's talking about the wine of God. The people there must suffer. Would you serve the sweetest drink to others and take the bitter drink yourself? That's what selfless service becomes. You give the best of yourself to others. There are no moons or suns there. Nothing waxes or wanes. Would you surrender your plans and forget about seductions? Here, we're made of water, earth, fire, and air. Yunus, tell us, is that what you're made of? Ask those who know. What's the soul within the flesh, reality's own power? What blood fills these veins? Thought is an errand boy, fear a mine of worries. These sighs are love's clothing. Who is Khan on the throne? Khan is the king. Give thanks for his unity. He created when nothing existed. And since we are actually nothing, what are possessions, houses, shops? God sent us here to come and see the world. This world itself is not everlasting. What are all of Solomon's riches? Ask Yunus and Tabtuk, that's his master, Tabtuk, what the world means to them. The world won't last. What are you? What am I? We entered the house of realization. We witnessed the body, the whirling skies, the many layered earth, the 70,000 veils we found in the body, the night and the day, the planets, the words inscribed on the holy tablets, the hills that Moses climbed, the temple, and Israfil's trumpet we observed in the body. Wow, he's talking about the holy sound in our body. Torah, Psalms, Gospel, Quran. What these books have to say, we found in the body. Everything can be found in this temple of God, in the human body. The Torah, the Psalms, the Gospels, the Quran. What can they teach us that one experience of seeing the inner master can give us? One experience of the inner master can give us so much truth that is contained in all these books. That's why Bishwar Puriji said, burn all the books, throw all the books away, and go inside. Everybody says these words of Yunus are true. Truth is wherever you want it. We found it all within the body. Wow, so beautiful gems. The drink sent down from truth. We drank it. Glory be to God. And we sailed over the ocean of power. Glory be to God. Beyond those hills and oak woods, beyond those vineyards and gardens, we passed in health and joy. Glory to God. We were dry, but we moistened. We grew wings and became birds. We married one another and flew. Glory to God. Marry the inner master, marry God. Wow. To whatever lands we came, in whatever hearts, in all humanity, we planted the meaning Taptuk taught us. Glory be to God. Come here. Let's make peace. Let's not be stranger to one another. We have saddled the horse. We trained it. Glory to God. We became a trickle that grew into a river. We took flight and dove into the sea. And then we overflowed. Glory be to God. Wow, this is so beautiful. We were a trickle that grew into a river. We took flight and is that dove or dove? Into the sea, and then we overflowed. We will overflow. Glory to God. We came down to the valley for winter. We did some good and some bad things. Now it's spring, and we'll return. Glory to God. We are all returning. Glory to God. We could say glory to God, glory to God, glory to God forever. Wahe Guru. We became servants at Taptuk's door. He became a servant at his, we're all servants at Master's door. Poor Yunus, raw and tasteless, finally got cooked. Glory be to God. Wow. Master is cooking us into a delicious dish. He's cooking us into a delicious dish. Wow. Let's say the name of Allah all the time. Let's see what my Lord does. Let's travel the way always. Let's see what my Lord does. Just when you least expect it, suddenly the veil is lifted. Wow, I can't wait. Look, look, look. Just when you least expect it. I heard that also from Baba Sawansi and Ishwar Puriji. Just when we least expect it, suddenly the veil is lifted. The remedy arrives in time. Let's see what my Lord does. What did Yunus do? What did he do? He found a straight path, held the hand of a guide. Let's see what my Lord does. Hold the hand of the guide. Don't let ever go. The mature ones are a sea. Wow, oh my God. Look, look, look. The mature ones, once we ripen, once we become a ripe fruit, we will become the seed. The mature ones are a sea. A lover is needed to take the plunge, a diver to bring up a pearl. Wow. Wow. A lover is needed to take the plunge, a diver to bring up a pearl. Every time we meditate, we get a pearl from God, a pearl from the kingdom of God. When you have brought the pearl to the surface, a jeweler is needed to know its worth. It's priceless. Stay on the road until you arrive. Be speechless. Don't become a salesman. Find an alley to follow. Wow. Stay on the road until you arrive. Stay on Ishwar's road. Take Ishwar's drive until you arrive. Mahmud knew truth in himself. Truth is present everywhere. You only need eyes to see it. Wow, isn't that so beautiful? Truth is present everywhere. You only need eyes to see it. You see the truth with the inner eye. With the outer eyes, we cannot see the whole truth. But with the inner eye, we can see the truth. Ask your daily sustenance from truth, and only a portioner find someone who's master of his ego. The lovers asked me to sing. Someone without greed is needed to complete what is started. Wow, someone without greed. May our greed be slain. Sufi, who are you kidding? Can anyone but truth satisfy a human need? Wow, truth is our only food. Truth will only satisfy us, and we won't feel, we will be satiated. We won't be hungry anymore. Only truth. Truth's palace is the heart. Wow, look at that. Truth's palace is in the heart. Wow. There is a verse in the Quran. In the soul, love has a tower higher than the throne of creation. Oh, there is a verse in the Quran. In the soul, love has a tower higher than the throne of creation. That's where the inner master resides. Wow. I've gone crazy on this way. Me too. I can't tell day and from night. The arrow of love has pierced my heart. Me too. Come, poor Yunus, come. Hold the hands of the mature. In their humility is a cure. Oh my God, I'm gonna die from these beautiful poems. Jit, he said, if you don't like these poems, blame me. No, Jit, my dear brother, thank you so much. Wow. Come, poor Yunus, come. Hold the hands of the mature. In their humility is a cure. I mean, you can't get better than that. Wow. Our laws are different from other laws. Our religion is like no other. It is different from the 72 sects. We are guided by different signs. In this world and hereafter, without the cleansing of visible waters, without any movement of hand, feet, or head, we worship. Wow! Without the cleansing of visible waters, without any movement of hands, feet, or head, we worship. Soul has no head, no feet, no hands. Wow. Whether at the Kaaba, in the mosque, or in ritual prayer, everyone carries their own disease. Which labels refer to whom? No one really knows. Tomorrow it will be clear who abandoned the religion. Yunus, renew your soul. Be remembered as a friend. Know this power. Listen with the ears of love. Wow. Listen with the ears of love. Wow, maybe this is good for today, but one second. Wow, this poetry is so delicious. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it, but it is amazing, amazing poetry from this guy Yunus, who's like one of us, like any one of us who's on the path of love and who climbed the stairway to God and reached the final destination. And we're all climbing the stairway to God, and we have a rope, and that rope is pulling us. What is that rope? That rope is the master. That rope that's pulling us upwards or inwards, if you want to say. That rope is the master. We're holding that rope, and that rope will not let go of us. Even if we let go of the rope will not let go of us. Master will never leave us. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee till the end of the world, Master says. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee till the end of the world. This sentence from the Holy Bible, we should relax in it. We should know that Master will never ever leave us. We are and that should make us fearless. It should make us trust more in God, and should make us live in God moment after moment after moment. Wow, wow. Oh, wow, Master, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Father God, for all the blessings that you shower on all of us. The circle of dervishes, the whirling dervishes, the circle of lovers and dancers in God. We all dance in God every day in His satsang. And after satsang, we continue dancing. He charges us with so much love. He charges our godly battery till the next day where we come again. And it keeps on charging wirelessly. Wirelessly, it charges by thinking of Master, by just looking, by just seeing Master in everything in this world, seeing the beauty of the flower, the beauty of the faces, the beauty that comes across from us, it is Master. Because there was nothing that was not created by Him. Everything was created by Him, by the Word. And by seeing all the beauty in the trees, in everything, in our fellow human beings, especially in the circle of lovers and those dervishes that I'm looking at, the lovers of God, that beauty emanates. That beauty emanates, that beauty is radiant, and that beauty is effulgent, and that beauty is the real beauty of God. That people who are awakened in their soul, just that beauty just overwhelms. It overwhelms the body from head to toe. That's why we are so in love with the old man with the white beard. The old man with the white beard, he's just an old man and he has an old body. But imagine the beauty of God. Every hair in that old man, every hair contains millions of suns and moons and stars. Every hair of that old man that we are in love with contains universes and universes. That's why we are all fell in love. From head to toe, we fell in love with that old man that stole our heart. He stole our heart, and that's it. We are in love. Moment after moment after moment, we are in love with Father God, with Mother God, with that power inside of us that will never leave us, that will never leave us. And we should relax in it anytime we worry starts to come. Remember, it's the mind trying to trick you into worry. Anytime you start to worry, just change the vibration. Change the vibration into master. Change the thoughts into master and tune ourselves with the higher power of God and master. Once we tune in, then everything that is opposite, the worries, the fear, whatever it is, even the anger and the lust, then it gets dissipated by that power. It removes it aside. And then we are more in harmony again. We are anchored like a ship anchored in a sea, that the waves cannot take it away, that the waves cannot cannot take it wherever they want because it is anchored. And the same way we have the anchor of the master. We are anchored in God. We are anchored in the kingdom of God. We are anchored in the heart of hearts. And that anchor is our support. That anchor is our security. And that anchor we live for. That what do we live for? We live for love. Really, we want to be loved and we want to love. And we live for love. That every day we open a different page of love and we enjoy that page of love. We enjoy everything that Master has wrote to us in our destiny in that day, in that moment. And we try to live in the present. Once we live in the present and we hold the hand of the Master, we don't think of the past or the future as they are our enemies. We just hold the hand of the present, and that is the thought of the Master, or seeing Master in everything we experience in this world. Then the beauty comes, the love comes, the enjoyment comes, the happiness comes, and that happiness could be forever if we keep the anchor in Master. Um, my sister, Anonymous, she sent me a song and I sent it to myself in Messenger. How about we listen to that song and then we play our Holy Father Ishwar Puriji. So let me, I did not, because I saw it after satsang, so let me try to get it. So excuse me 1 second. I'm trying to get the song. I think it's this one. If it's not this one, it's another one from her. Because that last one I sent, I don't see it. But I think this is. We'll play this one from her. She sent it to me yesterday, I think.
Master, make us channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us bring your love. Where there is injury, you pardon more. And where is the true faith in you? Master, make us channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let's bring us hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where is sadness, have a joy. Oh, Master, grant that we may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love is our soul. Oh, Master, make us channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving ourselves that we receive, and in dying that we are born to eternal life.
Wow, thank you, Sister.
I am the drop that contains the ocean. Its waves are amazing. It's beautiful to be a sea, hidden within an infinity drop. When Majnun spoke Layla's name, he broke the meter of his poem. I was both Layla and Majnun, who adored her. Mansur did not speak idly of unity. He was not kidding when he said, I am truth. In this world of many, you are Joseph and I am Jacob. In the universe of unity, there is neither Joseph nor Canaan. That my name is Yunus is a problem in this material world. But if you ask my real name, it is the power behind all powers. Yunus Emre.
Infant was there, and he said, Mr. Baby Boy, what is the value of looking at the darshan and looking at the face of a person they call masters? And the baby boy spoke. He said, Narad Muni, I am the same parrot that you saw in the cage, and I am the same snake that you saw in the pond. You are not a perfect living master. You're not even a second grade master, just a Muni. But your darshan, looking at you, made me change my life from a snake to a parrot. Second time I saw you, I turned into a human being. This is the advantage of looking at you. The advantage of looking at a perfect living master is 1,000 times more. That's how Narad Muni got his answer about darshan. So the advantage of darshan is exactly that it takes care of, it wipes out so much of the pattern of our karma that we get marked, as it were, we get marked to go back home. So this is a big advantage. And drishti is even more powerful than that.
Do you think there are holy places on earth? Can a place become holy?
All the places where perfect living masters have stepped and walked and sat are holy places, because we associate with them. We associate those places with them, and we think of them. Therefore, they are holy. But the holiest of holy place is right behind our eyes inside. Nothing to match that as the holiest place.
I can meditate with special help from music. What do you think of that?
Yes, of course, music is a help. Music can help in two ways. You can play meditational music. They have generated a large number of CDs that I have heard myself about meditational music, where they've taken the sea breeze, they have taken the rustling of the leaves, they have taken from nature, put those sounds together, and it's very calming music. Very, very good for going to sleep also. I have heard that music, it does give some peace of mind. It does, but the music that we really want to hear is inside. And sometimes we hear the outside music and we stop it and then listen inside. The resonance of that can connect us with the music inside. To that extent, it is useful. And I've heard that kind of music also. So music is really derived from an experience of inner sounds. Even outside music that we make, the basis for the music is inside, always. That is why you would find that on spiritual searches, music has played a very important role. Chanting, playing music, singing, this has all been part of the spiritual traditions because of the role music plays in our life. And therefore, but outside music, just listening to outside music cannot just take us anywhere except give some calmness to us. But if that music leads to our seeking to find similar melodious music inside, I can tell you the melody of the music inside cannot be matched by any music that I have ever heard outside. It's melodious. It's a symphony. It's something that you cannot match outside because there is so softness and so much smoothness in the music inside. And what we make outside is actually trying to make a reflection of that music. A lot of great music has come from the inspiration from the astral plane. And that is why music can be used, but use it only if it draws your attention inside, then it helps.
Explain the connection between vegetarian food and meditation. Have you ever initiated a non-vegetarian or a person who drinks wine sometimes?
The connection between vegetarian food and meditation is that when we meditate, we need to concentrate our attention. The power of concentrating attention is affected by the food we eat. And the food we eat is always based upon the degree of life we have extinguished. If we eat vegetables, if vegetables have life, and we extinguish life, and then we eat our vegetables. Nobody lives on stones and bricks. We all are living. All living things are living on other living things. Therefore, nobody is totally free of eating any life. So we all eat life and survive on life. But when you eat something of a higher order of consciousness, a higher degree of awareness, then the impact on your power to concentrate is much more. For example, supposing you read a book and your power of concentrating on the book is that you read 1 page a minute. That's your normal reading speed. Go and kill a man and come and read the same book. You won't be able to do it. You will stare at the same page for long periods. What has happened? You extinguish a life which has impacted your mind and impacted to the extent the power of concentrating your attention has been affected. You go and kill a dog, it's not impacted so much as you kill a man, but still impacted. So you kill mammals, you kill birds, it's all degrees. If you eat vegetables, is the minimum impact on your power of concentrating your attention. So if you want to have good meditation, good concentration of your attention in meditation, vegetarian food at the lowest level is the best and it's recommended. But it also requires that you don't eat too much. Supposing somebody says, I am a vegetarian, I am on a spiritual path, and I feel myself as a glutton, you are easily affected that you can't concentrate again. So it's not merely vegetarian food. It also take light food consisting of light ingredients in that. So it's a whole chapter on what's the best food. And they divided in India into sattvic food, tamasic food, rajasic food, and therefore they recommend that you should have the simplest food and to improve your meditation. There are so many other obstacles to meditation. Why make food also one of the obstacles? So why not have a simple vegetarian diet and improve our meditation? That's the significance. And there have been cases of initiations by masters where a person said, Master, I am a vegetarian. Since when? From today. When today? From this moment. I had a steak in the morning. So masters have said, okay, and they remain vegetarian. There was one instance, I remember, with great master. A man said, Master, there's one thing I can't do. I can't give up my meat and eggs. You keep on telling that it's necessary to have vegetarian food. I just can't do that. But I want initiation very badly. I am a seeker. Why should you connect diet so much with seeking? My seeking is so strong. What is the importance of diet in that case? Master said, okay, I'll initiate you on one condition. Don't eat in front of me. He said, yes, certainly. When he tried to eat, Master appeared. He was a vegetarian the rest of his life. Okay.
I'm initiated in the 5 mantras, and suddenly, after a pause in meditation, I feel like not saying them, just go directly to the sound listening. Can you say something about that? Thank you.
The mantras, no matter what words have been given by a perfect living master, has very limited value. Mantra is to be used when we are having awareness of our physical body, in order to concentrate our attention in the physical body behind the eyes. Once you move out of that, mantra loses its significance. And it is used, while we are still between the physical and the astral, it is used merely to see if the image before us is of the real master or our mind is making up. And an empowered mantra prevents the mind to make up that. The mind cannot possibly make up the eyes and the forehead of a perfect living master, no matter what. People have tried, it doesn't work. When you are repeating this mantra, you cannot make up that image. And therefore, it's a good check. If a master is present with you and you repeat the empowered words, the face and the presence of the master will not be changed. It will remain there. So that's how we use the mantra. But after we go beyond the astral stage, in causal stage, mantra loses significance and we have to switch over to the sound. If somebody can hear the sound before the mantra, you don't need the mantra. The sound is what will ultimately pull you up. There is no way of any words, spoken words, to take you beyond the astral stage. Then the sound alone can pull you up. Therefore, when a person is initiated, these instructions are, start practicing sound right from the beginning, so that when you rise to the level of the astral plane, you can switch from one to the other more easily. But ultimately, the sound even doesn't appeal to us as it is heard as a sound. It has to be a power. It almost looks like that's the form of the master itself and our own form. Because the sound we are associating with something we are listening to actually becomes our own identity, our own true identity, our consciousness. Our soul is the sound. The soul itself becomes sound which can be heard here. That's the only thing that we have manifest of our own self at this level. So there is a role for repetition of words, the mantra, to go to the first stage. A role for the music and sound that we hear, melody and all that, to go to the second stage. Above that, the sound takes a different form And the real power that takes us beyond the mind is love and devotion. No other thing. Without love and devotion, nobody has crossed the mental region of Trikuti or three worlds. So that is why, if you are hearing the sound and it's pulling you, mantra has little significance for you.
If you've been initiated in the 5 mantras and not sure it was from the right person, what to do? Thank you.
If you are not sure about the master, then you wait. And when perfect living master will come into your life, the unconditional love of that will draw you in such a way that your doubts will also start disappearing. And even if you have doubts, the pull in your soul will be so strong that it will overcome your doubts and your fears that might have prevented you from following anybody else. Therefore, the right master always comes if we keep our seeking alive, especially when we are not sure. So if you're not sure, keep seeking within yourself, not outside. You don't have to search. The master has to search you. The master has to come to you by coincidences. And you can know what coincidence is. Coincidence is things happening against the laws of probability. It's not likely suddenly you meet somebody. Somebody tells you something. You read a book and find something. It's an unusual event, and we call it a coincidence. The good feature about coincidence is that if you have an intuitive gut feeling, the gut feeling matches the coincidence outside. That means there's an external evidence and there's internal evidence. External is a coincidence, internal is intuition. Very often, the intuition comes like this: I want to see something, I know there's something out there. You go driving on your car and a sign, totally unrelated. It is selling garments, selling bread, something, and there's some one word of that which relates to what you are thinking. You say, how did that come up? That's a coincidence. And then your gut feeling was earlier, I wanted to go there, and it's matched by a coincidence. When these things happen, you find that there are so many clues that are coming across us, which we follow. We will be right in front of a perfect living master. Very good question. The answer is given in my YouTube talks. There's one part that has come up in this question, which would be of general interest, and I'll deal with that. And that is, how much should we talk about this path and our own progress with other people, especially when we want to help them and want to share our experiences. The advice is that this is not something you have to go convert people into this. When a person is ready, person will come automatically and ask questions. If you have knowledge of this path, you have some experience on this path, just answer that question. Don't try to go beyond and try to convince anybody about it, because the conviction must come from within that person and not by an outside pressure. There's no pressure required. You find some friend is interested, say, this is what I found, and leave it at that. If he asks another question, answer the question to the best of your ability, but don't have to start sharing, I got this, I got that. It only boosts your ego, and then your own meditation is affected by that. Therefore, share up to a point where you are comfortable. You are just answering a question of a seeker, of an inquirer. But don't go beyond. It's not a religion where you do convert people into this. The person who has to come for this automatically appears in your life. And when he asks a question, just answer that question as best as you can. And very personal experiences that you have had internally, they should not be shared, because sharing those tries to reduce the speed of your getting more of those experiences later on in your own meditation.
Regarding karma, you told this morning, 1, we can only live in this world due to our karma. 2, only human being is creating karma. 3, animal is only paying off karma, but does not create karma. Question: as animal is not creating karma and cannot live without karma, how Did they receive their karma? Did all came as humans first?
I said in the morning that we cannot have a life form without karma. The karma determines a destiny, and destiny creates a life form, whether it's human or animal or bird or plant or angels. That life forms is based upon previous karma, past karma, because the new karma will now be created during that lifetime, created by past karma. So there are karma which are called karam juni, that means where you can perform action on intention and create karma, and there is bhog juni, that means you are just paying off karma. Except human beings, all other forms of life are bhog juni, that we are just paying off karma, including animals, plants, trees, angels, they're just paying off karma. As human beings, we create karma. So you have stated very correctly in this question, in this answer given first to the question. Question comes after the answer. The answer says we only live in this world due to karma, only human beings create karma, animals are only paying off karma. Correct. Question, as animals are not creating karma and can only, how are they living? Because of past karma, which they created when they were human beings. They are paying off karma. No animal is creating karma, no tree is creating karma, no angel is creating karma, no heavenly being is created karma. They are all paying off karma. Only human beings are creating, and when they become animals, that's when they pay off the karma.
When the souls return home, they meet the 90% that never left. The 90% that never left experience the newcomers, homecomers, as more happy. Isn't that dualism?
Yes, that is just a way of saying there are no people there, and the word happiness is a misplaced word for that. We try to substitute the word with bliss, that bliss is a better word for that instead of happiness, because the worldly emotional happiness, the worldly type of happiness we get doesn't exist. It's a state of being in which the returning ones are mingling with those. It's just a story. It's a story made out. There is no space, there is no time, there is no such thing like we imagine about happiness or unhappiness or blissful living or something. It's something in a state of zero time, zero space, and the whole thing is happening before these things are created. So it's very difficult to express what it is, but it's not a duality at all.
Can a master be angry, quarrel with someone?
He can pretend to. Can a master be angry or quarrel with someone? He can pretend to and do a good job.
If we meet people, can be children, relatives, who are very angry, feel very disappointed, how can we help best? How do we meet silence?
I think there are so many things about parenting that we have different views on. There's so many people leave their children to cry, that they need to cry, this is improving their lungs and they can be in torture, and we are doing a good job for parenting. Some people say, no, children should always be with you, should be spoilt, and they turn out to be spoiled brats when they grow up. So the parenting has been a very big issue, what we should do. My recommendation is that always treat a child with love and affection. Understand his point of view as if you are his or her age, and then understand and deal with this. Instead of trying to dominate the child because you are grown up and the child is not. Take the child to be at the same level as yourself, deal with that, and child will have a beautiful growth.
Dear Master, please, what do you mean with devotion to the Master?
Devotion to the Master means responding to the love that you get from a master. It's automatic. You automatically feel, now I see a lot of love and devotion in this group. Some of you feel that too. So can you really define it? It's not defined into one particular way of expressing devotion, nor can you say there's one particular way of expressing your love. It comes naturally. It's a feeling so deep inside. It's a soul-to-soul connection. Love and devotion are soul-to-soul connection. Love is what attracts devotion. Devotion is a response to that love. It is not particular act or particular behavior. It is something that is felt within ourselves.
Can you say something more about our true home?
Our true home is so beautiful, so wonderful. I can tell stories. I can't describe it, but I can tell stories. I can make a lot of stories too, because there's no other way to describe it. There was one mystic, we call him Swamiji, Seth Shivdayal Singh from Agra, where the Radha Swami movement started. Seth Shivdayal Singh used to say, that place is so wonderful. There are tall trees, several miles high, all laden with diamonds and rubies and jewels. And everybody, most of his meetings were attended by women, by the way, because of what he said. But these are just descriptions to tell you it's a unique place, it's different, it's our home. We feel we belong there. We don't feel we have come anywhere. We belong there. And the beauty is, we are there now. Just lost the awareness. We lost the awareness. We never went anywhere. There's no other place to go. What we think are places to go have been created right there. And when we get our awareness back, we are back home. It doesn't mean that we have traveled anywhere. We just traveled in our awareness and opened up our eyes. That's where we were. We woken up. We have been waking up again and again and again to levels. We find ultimately we are at home. And that feels so good. Even a little reflection of that is here. When we go back home, we say, thank God we are back home. After a strenuous journey outside, that's just a comparison with the state there, because we belong there. Not only that, there we realize that our true form is totality of consciousness. We are one. There was never any division. We created division for experience only. We created mind only for experience. And you can imagine if there was no mind, there was no division, you were one, and we can experience one and many within that one, how would you feel? That's the nature of our true home.
When love is the only healing power, why do in the presence of the Master not all people getting healed?
Love is a healing power, but there is a certain thing called receptivity. Receptivity is very important. Supposing it's raining and you say, I have a cup and I want to get it filled up. Rain is beautiful, healing me. And you go and put the cup upside down, it will never get filled up. If you put the cup sideways, a few drops may go in. If you put the cup straight, it all get filled up. Grace of and love of the Master is flowing like a flood of rain. Our attention is the cup that's not in that direction. You put it in the wrong direction, it doesn't get filled up. You turn the direction of your attention, it gets filled up and you get healed.
This question was also translated together. What is the relationship between A, the DVD is played out, B, we create new karma here? Isn't this a contradiction?
There is no contradiction. The DVD is a complete record of all that we will live, including creation of new karma. When we say we create new karma here, it's pre-recorded in the DVD. How do we say we create it? Because we pick up the DVD. We don't create it here. We think we are creating here and the law of karma operates here. The actual law of karma has operated in one timeless moment when we picked up the DVD. We created by picking up the DVD. All karmas will now be played out. It looks like we are creating karma here. There is no contradiction. That's it.
What do you think of Osho? He has many disciples and worshippers in Western countries. Have you met him?
Yes, I have met him more than once, and I do not make any comment on any master anywhere, because that's not my job, not my role, and I'm not involved in this. I have respect for all masters. I can only say masters take you up to the stage where they have themselves gone. No master can take you beyond where the master himself has realized his own status. I do not comment upon anybody's status. If you're lucky, you meet one master, more masters, and it's your own fortune, how you process yourself through the meeting with masters, stepping from one to the other. But if your seeking goes on, no matter which master you have met, and it does not depend on what the big following of a master is, it does not depend, you can't judge a master from his following, you can't judge a master from his eloquent speech, you can't judge a master from his books, you can only judge a master from your own personal experience of the unconditional love and how far he can take you. A perfect living master takes you to a true home, and there are lots of masters who take you to intermediate stages, but they're all doing their own jobs. And that job is a continuation of what you get from the perfect living master, because they're preparing you for the perfect living master.
How do I know if someone I can see is real, soul, or only a projection of my mind?
It depends. The question is, how do I know if someone I could see is real or only a projection of my mind? All are real. When we are here, all are real. You can't know who is a projection of your mind and who is not, because our reality is based upon the level of consciousness we are in. When we are in the physical level of consciousness, every physical thing is real. Everybody around us is real. To see if they were all real or not, we have to wake up to the next level. Then you'll find out who was real, who was not. It's just like a dream. When you go to sleep and have a dream, you meet many people there, and they're all real. While the dream is going on, they're all equally real. When you wake up, you find that 2 or 3 of friends are here also, some others you made up for the dream. It's only when you wake up, you discover who is real, who is not. Eventually, at the top, you'll find only one was real, yourself and the master who are one.
I'm so tired of trying, searching, studying, reading, yoga, meditation, seminars, lectures, just like this one. Someone telling me all these wonderful things, and yet I feel nothing. Nothing changes. People around me advance, become more, write books, are respected and learned. And I only feel less and less. Realize I don't know anything at all. No clarity, no memory. Feel that I need to do something. But it all makes me so tired. It feels hopeless. I often feel I want to run away. What am I doing wrong? Is there any help, any guidance?
This is an autobiography of all of us. We've all gone through this phase. We all have tried these things and been through this. We've been trying, searching, studying, reading. We've all done this. And then you ultimately feel that you know nothing. That's the beauty. The more you know, the more you learn that you know nothing compared to what is available. The scope of knowledge expands as we begin to get more knowledge. Socrates said, the Greek philosopher, Socrates said, people know nothing and I know nothing, but I am the wisest man out of all. Because they know nothing, but they think they know. I know nothing and I know nothing. Therefore, I am the wisest. So this idea of knowledge and knowing expands when we find that we are so confined to the little bit that we see around us and take it as real. We have no idea how this reality is being created. We have no idea who we are. We are continuously mistaking our covers to be ourselves. So therefore, the very basis of our awareness and knowledge is not leading to any real knowledge. The real knowledge comes when we pierce through all these covers and discover what we thought was ourselves was not ourselves. That knowledge comes only when we go to a true home, then you're fully aware of everything. So true knowledge comes from there and comes through the help of a perfect living master. I don't know any other way. Somebody else can find a way to go to the true home without perfect living master. I would be willing to learn that too. But I know that beyond the mind, it's not possible except to be in the company of one who at the same time as a human being knowing us is actually talking from the true home. If he is talking from true home at all times, such a person can take us to a true home.
At any given time, how many perfect living masters are present on this earth?
I answered it earlier, there can be 1 to 8.
What is the difference between Surat and Nirat?
These words are being used, Surat and Nirat. Surat means attention towards listening, Nirat means the attention towards seeing. The sense perception that we have, out of 5 senses that we have, 2 survive even at higher levels of consciousness, and those are the power of seeing and the power of listening. Surat is the power of listening, Nirat is the power of seeing. So these 2 go into higher levels of consciousness. We are able to see and hear beyond where we can touch and taste and smell. Thank you very much for your patience. We'll have a break for lunch, and I'll see you after lunch. And we'll do some final sessions of meditation and a little talk I'll give you on the most important subject that I can cover during these 3 days, the question of what is love and devotion. Thank you. So now, if you follow with me, please close your eyes. Sit upright on your chairs or on the floor, wherever you are sitting. Upright because the house should not tilt around. It's your house now. Do not move your house. Do not crack the walls. So be very still. And when you're very still, if you are moving your attention around other parts of the body, thinking about them, now pull it up to the head and behind the eyes. And think of nothing else but sitting in the middle of the head. You can use an imaginary chair, you can sit on the floor, you can stand there in the space. But do not lower yourself below the eyes. Do not go to sleep, do not go to the throat center, stay awake at the eye level. If you are too forward, push yourself behind. If you're sitting on a chair, press your feet so that you can move backwards to the center of the head. Don't push too hard, you'll go out of the head from behind, but stay in the center. Center yourself exactly where you think the eyes are in front of you, the ears are on either side of you. And imagine you are there, doing nothing but just locating yourself. If any colors or pictures come in front of you, ignore them. Don't move forward towards them. Any memories come, don't look at them. Look at the center where you are. Stay at the center. If you hear any sounds, ignore them. Do not move away. Do not go towards the sound or towards any light or picture or color. Concentrate on being in the center.